Okay, this is IM2, and we just did perpendicular bisectors, so we're going to actually do angle bisectors. So we're going to draw a big triangle first. All right, so we'll just grab any shaped triangle. It doesn't need to be anything special. Double click on the last point to close it up. I'm going to measure all the angles. I'll admit that labeling the angles is actually kind of fun because you just keep clicking on the dots all the way around. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the angles just slightly so that I have even angles because that's going to make my life easier. All right, so this is 60, 40, 80. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to draw an angle that is half of each of these. So I'm going to make an angle bisector. I do this, so I'm going to go with the 60 first. Half of 60 is 30. You can kind of see it in the very light numbers. I'm going to move my mouse until I hit 30. Okay, so there's my 30-degree angle. I'll just go ahead and put a line through that because lines are cool. All right, next I'm going to do the 80, and this construction is pretty straightforward. Half of 80. I recommend using something that is, because this doesn't do percentages, just pick, if you're going to build this, just pick yourself angles that can be easily divided into two. All right, let's draw a line on there. Make this point and through that point. All right, and the last angle, half of 40 is 20. Leg, vertex, and I'm drawing them far out so that I can get a really good line going. And there's my 20 degrees. Again, I'll just draw a line. All right, and there is a center point where they all meet. This is, again, this is the concurrency of the angle bisectors. So the concurrency of the angle bisectors, I'll put a point there so you can see it. And the concurrency of the angle bisectors has the property that it is equal distance from a line that would be dropped down that is perpendicular. And we can show that if we are going to go ahead and make a perpendicular line. So we'll select this one, and then we'll select it to go through that center. And if we were to measure it, actually, let's finish drawing these. Let's make all the perpendicular lines. So we're going to do a perpendicular line for this one, and we'll do a perpendicular line for this one. I'm going to go ahead and label those perpendicular lines really fast so that you can keep track of which ones are the perpendicular lines and which ones are the angle bisectors. So that is a perpendicular line, and this was a perpendicular line. All right, and if we were to measure them, we could measure them and they would be the same distance every time or within a reasonable number. And we will do that. I'll prove it to you on 2 of them, or maybe I'll prove it to you on 3. 2.2. Oops, that's the only hard part. Selecting the right one. Nope, I want this one. 2.27, pretty close. And you can imagine that the last one is about the same. And then the last thing that we can do with those is we can actually make a circle. And the circle fits exactly inside this triangle. This is the inscribed circle, and it is built with the angle bisectors. And you use the term that this point right here is the center of the circle that is inscribed within the triangle.